Hi all, Losdy, Punch Out TV. How are you all doing on this Wednesday evening? Not long just stepped through the door, so just not long got home from work, so you have to excuse me. I want to talk about Jarrell Big Fat Dusty Miller versus Daniel Dubois. For me, this is probably, out of all the heavyweight fights, this is probably the most fight what I'm probably most interested in for a number of reasons, and one being I want to see what Miller can do to Daniel Dubois, and I want to see what Daniel Dubois can do to Miller. And what I mean by that is, obviously, Daniel Dubois is coming off a loss to Alexander Usyk back in August of this year, where he took a knee. Not gonna get. I thought he boxed well in that fight, Daniel, but I did actually get that fight right for once. I predicted that Usyk would stop him simply because of the barrage of punches, the angles and the combinations of the angles and stuff like that. But I thought he boxed well in that fight. I really did. And I like Daniel Dubois. I like the kid. Okay, yeah, he's as dry as a biscuit. He's got no media skills or anything like that. But I do like the lad. So anyway, he's fighting Grossberger, aka Jarrell Miller, this weekend. And I'm looking forward to this fight. I was listening to the Cobra Carl Froch the other day saying it'll be an easy win for Daniel Dubois because Miller's too slow and stuff like that. But I beg to differ, me, because I think even though Miller shouldn't even be on this card because he's a PEDS cheat, but he served his ban and there's a load of PED cheats out there. Conor Benn's still fighting. He hasn't cleared his name, but for me, I don't know what it is. I do like Jarrell Miller. I like him because he's a shit talker. He's the best in the business. For me, there's no one better than Jarrell Miller when it comes to shit talking. Followed very closely by Tyson Fury, but he's fighting Miller, and Miller is 26-0, 1 draw, 22 KOs. He's aged 35 and he's orthodox. 6'4", has a 78-inch reach. Dubois is 19-2, with 18 KOs. A lot younger than Grossberger. At the age 26, he's orthodox. He's a little bit higher, same reach. So for me, why I'm interested in this fight so much is because even though Jarrell Miller was a PEDS cheat, and I used to think, where's this guy got this Merlin engine from? Because his stamina was unreal. You know, for a big dude weighing 300 and odd pounds, throwing loads of punches per round, and looking at the end of the fight like he hasn't even broke a sweat. And then obviously he come down to him taking PEDS. But still, since then, I've watched a couple of his fights, and he's still very similar. He's just a lot more heavier now. But he still throws them pitter-patter punches, a lot of punches. He's a pressure fighter, comes forward. And for me, this fight is interesting because I see it like this. Daniel Dubois really should box this guy's head off. Very simple. He's a better fighter than him. He's just an all-round better boxer. I believe he's a harder puncher than Miller. Even though Miller has got 22 knockouts, I believe he's a harder puncher. But the thing with Daniel Dubois, for me, is he doesn't like being put on the back foot, and he doesn't like being put under pressure. And with Miller, that's what you're going to get. And that's why this fight, for me, is very interesting. Because, like I say, Daniel Dubois, on paper, should skip around this dude and box his head off and possibly knock him out within 6 or 7 rounds. But if he can't get Miller out of there, if Grossberger's still in there by 7 or 8, and Daniel Dubois at Grossberger with everything he's got, then Miller's still coming forward. Is he going to break Daniel Dubois' spirit like Alexander Usyk did and Joe Joyce, and take him to the later rounds and drown him? Very, very possibly could do. And that's why I say that I'm really interested in this fight. You know, he's been telling him he's going to do. Miller's been telling Dubois he's soft as baby shit and all this. He's going to do this, that, and the third to him. And Daniel's like, bring it on. Let's see it. Now, for me personally, I want Daniel Dubois to knock this fucking blancmange straight out the ring. I want him to flatline him. Even though I've got a small little bit of me what does like Miller, because I find him funny. Now, I know I shouldn't like the guy just because I find him funny, because he's a drugs cheat, but I can't help but fucking, the man makes me laugh, because he is a comedian. Now, I watched his last fight against Lucas Brown, and that was disgusting. It was like watching two slugs making love. It was horrible, horrible fight. Two out of shape big men just leaning on each other and throwing fucking punches, what you could see coming from a week before. But he got the job done, and he stopped Lucas Brown. Now, Gerald Miller has never been in with anyone, I don't believe, better than Daniel Dubois. And Daniel Dubois has boxed better fighters than Gerald Miller. As in like Alexander Usyk and Joe Joyce. Which, like I say, I think Daniel did well in both of them fights, but then he quits. And you have to question his art. Now, I know about the orbital bone and stuff like that from Joe Joyce, but Joe Joyce basically just jabbed his head off. And then Alexander Usyk basically just moved around him, pinging him from left, right, up and down, until it got to the point that he couldn't take no more, and then he took a knee again. And something's telling me that Miller's going to do the same. He's going to, because Miller can take a punch, man. That's one thing Fat Dusty Miller can do. Grossberger can take a punch. And if Daniel can't get him out of there, and he starts gassing, because he's a very big dude, Daniel, and I think he gasses. Whereas, you know, Miller, even though he's a peds cheat, like I say, he's got a very good engine. So, something's telling me that, I don't know, this is a 50-50 fight, I think. I genuinely think it's a 50-50 fight. But on paper, and I'm hoping to God that Daniel knocks him the fuck out. I really am. Even though, like I say, I've got a small little bit of me what does like Miller, because he makes me laugh. But I'd be interested to hear what you say. And I've been listening to a lot of like the big boxing channels, and a lot of them have been saying this fight is probably the most interesting fight because of how I'm saying it. You know, I think it is a 50-50 fight. But on paper, I'll just repeat myself, but Daniel should do the job. But if he can't, then Miller ain't going to take no mercy on this dude. That you can guarantee. Big belly Miller's going to come forward. He's going to lean on him. He's going to throw punches, loads of punches, and it might just grind Daniel down. Hopefully Daniel can move around. Fat Dusty will burn out and then he'll get knocked out. That's how I hope it goes, but we're getting closer now. There's only 2 or 3 days now till this card. Cannot wait for it. I'll do a prediction for the rest of the fights. They're pretty much one-sided fights, I think the rest of them are. But for me, this is the most interesting fight of them all for me personally. Anyway, I've blabbled on enough. Let me know how you think the fight will go. who do you think will win? And I'm going live for this card on Saturday. It won't be for all of it, but definitely the heavyweight fights, and I want to catch the Bivol Richards fight as well. So, actually, Frank Sanchez is fighting as well. He's fighting Junior Fa, but that should be easy work for Frank Sanchez, because Lucas Brown flatlined Junior Fa in 1 round not so long ago. So, hey ho, have a good evening, and I'll catch you very soon. Peace out. Peace.